Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today I wanted to talk about one of my newer tablets, the Samsung Tab S8 Plus, and then my Rockstar Supernote A5X. So the reason for the video is this tablet obviously just came out, so I'm sure it's on a few people's minds about for consideration, and they both share something in common, which is the pen. So these are both geared towards multitasking devices. They both have a pen, and I want to talk about kind of how they're similar and which one, how they obviously probably know how they're similar, but how they differ and which one might be the better buy and kind of for what purpose. So first, let me get the obvious out of the way. This tablet is huge and it's like a mirror, so there's nothing I can do about all the shadows. It's trying to film a mirror basically. It's such a glossy screen. But this device has improved a lot when it comes to note taking. So I've used many of these Samsung Note devices, and this one actually seems to be probably one of the better ones I've used for handwriting. So it writes really well. It's got great palm rejection, very low latency. I mean, if you can get a little closer here, you can kind of see that it's very fast. I mean, there's virtually no lag on this thing, and it writes really close to the surface, so you don't have as big of a gap between the tip of the pen and where it meets. Let me get a little closer here, see if I can get this. You can kind of see it's really close, so it's a very good writing experience with low latency. And it's it's almost impossible to spot. So it's a great handwriting experience on this one as well. Now, it doesn't have that friction that you get with this one that kind of mimics real paper, but it's still pretty good. And if I could just get this thing to stay in, let me lock it in portrait mode. Let's move this down. I apologize here. Okay. So handwriting has gotten, much better. Best handwriting experience I've had so far with a Samsung device. Now, can it compete with the Supernote? No. I still think handwriting on this one is just a little bit better. It's got a more realistic writing experience, if that makes sense. So this is the closest to paper that you're going to experience. So this still, I think, wins by a little bit. Not by a lot, but handwriting, I think, is still, this one ekes it out. Now, where I think the Supernote runs away is the battery life, because at the end of the day, at least for how I use this device, I'm taking notes in meetings at work. I'm often leaving it on, and then I leave it on, and then I pick up the pen to, jot stuff down, and then put the pen down. So it's always kind of ready to go. Where this one, you see the screen keeps turning off. Now, you could make this screen stay on all the time, but then you'll probably get only about, half a day of use if you just leave it on all the time. So this is where I think the Supernote runs away in practicality, is that this battery life on this device, I charge mine once every 2 weeks, maybe a week. Sometimes I'll charge it just to have it ready, not that it needs it, but I think if I let it go, I could probably make it close to 2 weeks without charging this. Where this one, obviously, a day maybe with use. So I'd say the ratio is about 1 to 7 days of use. If you were to use these equally, I feel like you'd get 7 days versus 1 day, if not more, on this one. So that's kind of where the Supernote runs away, is with the battery life. The writing experience, they're pretty darn close. The Supernote just barely squeaks out. I think if you were to buy one of those screen protectors to put over the Tab S8, where it kind of makes it a little bit more matte and a little more noisy to write on, that might be the equalizer, because that's kind of what this has. This has like a film over it that adds this friction and makes it kind of a matte look, where this one is, as you can tell by the reflections, super glossy and shiny. So that's kind of where they kind of share. Now, obviously, this is a multitasking device. This can do a whole lot more. It's got way more power, RAM, and CPU, and storage, you name it. You know, if you're looking for a device that can kind of, if you can only have one device, I guess is the better way of saying it. If you can only afford or only keep one device, then obviously I think this would be better than that, because this can do everything basically that you can think of, where this is really just more for writing. Now, if you already have a laptop or a tablet or a smartphone or whatever, you probably could do things on there that you on here, so maybe you don't need it, or maybe then you could get this one. But you know, it's kind of a toss-up. You know, it'd be great if this one can incorporate some more smart features, or this one can kind of focus more on writing. But you know, it's still a close race, but I still think this one wins. Now, when it comes to drawing, this is where I got to give the Tab S8 the nod. I mean, this is fun to doodle with, but you can only do so much. This one, you can actually legit draw and do things, because first of all, you got the pressure sensitivity, so you know, shading things much better. Obviously, you got colors and you got different paintbrushes and pens, but for shading, you can really kind of do a lot with like the feathering aspect that you can't do on this one. So for actual drawing, I think the Tab S8 would win. For kind of doodling and whatever, I think this is fine. I mean, I'll doodle on this sometimes, it's fine. But for serious kind of art and drawing, obviously this one's better. So really, in summary, if I had to recommend one over the other, in my situation, if I could only keep one, I would keep this one. Why? Because I got laptops, I have Chromebooks, I got a smartphone. I can do a lot of those things on that device, where this is still kind of a unique kind of device with this electronic ink and note taking. I use this every single day. It's replaced. I've cleared up so much clutter off my desk. I had notebooks all the time on my desk to jot things down. They can never find things. So this has made things much easier for me to stay organized. The only thing I wish, if we kind of move over to the Supernote a little bit, I still wish that they would fix is, bring in Google support, which I know that's coming. They'll make things a little easier for me because I'm in the Google ecosystem. I still wish they would fix this tab. For me being a lefty, I have to put it to the bottom so I don't trigger it up here. But for whatever reason, they don't make it the same on the bottom. You're missing several tools. So watch, if I put this to the top, all the way to the top, there you go. See, it kind of expands out and you get these page tools. If I put it to the bottom, you kind of get this condensed one, which is kind of annoying, because then if I want to flip pages, I gotta hit those 3 stars and it goes back to the top. So I kind of wish they could have just made it the same size at the top. But otherwise, no issues with this tablet. It's been working amazing. Still my go-to recommended most used device I have. But since I got my hands on this one, I thought I would kind of compare the two to maybe help someone out if they're trying to decide, because this is not cheap, and this one, to be honest, is, if you just buy it flat out, they're I don't know, $800-900, I don't know what crazy price they're charging, but Samsung's always got crazy sales. So I think I paid like $400 for this device, but that's after the the bundle discount I had with my Note. So overall, I like this. I use this still for multitasking, multimedia, photo editing, video editing. I'll do it on that, but I could live without this one. This one, it'd be hard for me to give up. So hope that kind of maybe gives you a little clarity, or maybe lack of even more confusion on which one to get. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Overall conclusion, for handwriting, this one wins. Drawing, this one wins. If I could only keep one device, I would keep this one, only because I have other devices. If I had no other devices and I only could keep one, then I would take this one, because this one can take notes, not as good as this one, but I can obviously do a lot more things on that one too. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for joining, and have a good rest of your day.